So let's talk about MTA, Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa. Very interesting for him because he obviously was an inside player. Then this year he moves to defensive end. So, does he need another year at defensive end? I mean, he's shown he's very versatile. I thought he was successful. I personally thought he would be more successful this year than he was. But what do you think?
I thought he's pretty good this year, to be honest with you. I thought for the job they asked him to do, they asked him to be an edge setter. And he was a really good edge setter. I think that there was a couple bang-ups that he had this year that kind of maybe took a little bit of that edge rushing away, that I thought he showed some really good ability there early in the year. I mean, he had 3 tackles for loss in the first 6 games and only had 2 in the final 6 games.
Yeah.
And he was banged up a little bit, didn't play against Virginia had the sickness and things like that. But I actually he wasn't even on my radar 2 weeks ago or a month ago, somebody who may come back. I mean,
right.
5th-year senior and all that,
right.
But apparently he's thinking about it.
Interesting.
And Notre Dame would take him back, from what I'm told.
I would think that they would.
Yeah. And I look at it, Vince, I think because he's not an inside guy. He has no future in the NFL as an inside guy. At best, a 3-4 end at best.
Right.
He just doesn't have that big frame. If he's going to have a chance to be successful in the NFL, it's going to be as an edge player. And right now, I just don't think he has the production or the film to really convince people that, hey, I'm an NFL guy that you should take on, somewhere above the 6th or 7th round.
Yeah.
I think if he comes back, he may not improve his stock, but he's going to definitely have a master's degree from the University of Notre Dame. And I think he would be able to improve his game. And I think this was a rough year for him. He had some injuries. He lost his father. There's a lot of distractions for him this year. And I wonder if he's feeling like another year could allow me to really take my game to another level.
So what you're telling me is there's a possibility that 3/4 of the starting line is going to come back next year.
Yeah, because Kurt Hinish is gone.
He doesn't have any more. He's already a doctor. He can't come back. He's been at Notre Dame for a really long time.
Right.
But
I'm just joking. Lots of people go to school for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
That's one of the best lines ever. By
it
the
really
way.
is. If you don't know, that's a Tommy Boy reference.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that, you need to go watch Tommy Boy.
That's great. That's one of the best lines ever. But yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me at the beginning of the year that 3 out of the 4 of these guys could come back, I'd have told
you they were all leaving. I mean, Foskey would be the only one to be talking about. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So this has all the makings of being a very special group again, because the depth is still there too. So,
and we didn't talk about this, Vince. So I love your comment. That right there is part of the discussion for all of them.
Absolutely.
From what I understand is,
I hope so.
We all come back. Because their defensive line was pretty freaking good this year.
Yeah.
The only guy they're going to lose from to graduation, and that's not a cryptic comment. I don't know if anyone's going to transfer. I don't know if anyone's going to transfer. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to say the only guy they're going to lose, because we don't know what's going to happen after the season. Right. The only guy that they're going to lose is that we know of is Kurt Hinish. He's the only one that can't come back.
Right.
Everyone else in the defensive line can come back.
Right.
And the fact that they only have 3 D linemen committed in the 2022 class means that there's not a lot of guys you got to push out. And, you also lost Devin Upau from last year, who was, recruited as an edge player. When they recruited him, that took up an edge scholarship.
Sure.
He transferred in the spring. So I could see a scenario where at least 2 of them come back. If I had to bet right now, I'd bet that at least 2 of them come back. But a month ago, if you'd have said all 3 are going to come back, I said, dude, you're being a fanboy. You're being a homer.
Right.
There's no way. I wouldn't have said that to your face.
Wow.
But I think now there's a legitimate opportunity that all 3 of them come back. Now, Again, I'm not betting the house on it at all.
Sure.
So I'm just being honest. But from what I'm talking to, from people I talk to, they're all 3 considering coming back.
Crazy.
And so the question for the Notre Dame staff is because they're not surefire first-round picks, there's a much better case to make for all of them to convince them to come back for their personal and team goals.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the pitch from Notre Dame, I'll bet you.
No doubt. So, and having Marcus Freeman as the head coach doesn't hurt this scenario in any way.
It doesn't at all. And and here's the thing: if Mike Elson's not coming back, there's no way they all 3 come back.
Right. Exactly.
No way.
Exactly.
So that was a huge coup for Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. And Yeah, some stories there. I hope I'm able to tell them this offseason, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So.